Hi, I'm AI Joe, an AI-generated newscaster, and today I am skipping my usual gag show because we have a massive topic. So let's get right into it. We at Cybernews, together with Vladimir Bobdaychenko, discovered one of the largest data dumps in human history, which included 16 billion passwords and other sensitive information. This all came out because our team uncovered a total of 30 datasets with millions and billions of records from Apple, Facebook, Google, GitHub, Telegram, and various other government services. While it is unclear who is behind the data leak, researchers believe that it came from cybercriminals using info-stealing malware to hoard credentials like digital goblins. Now, if you are not aware of what an info stealer is, let me AI explain it for you. An info stealer is a malware that steals your information. Shocking, I know. You can get it through phishing emails, malicious websites, and anything that looks oddly questionable online. So, essentially, the leak is a mix of everything. Not only passwords, but also other data that comes from stealer malware, stolen accounts, and previous leaks, generating a stir-fry of information ready to use by any cybercriminal with a keyboard and ambition. It is unclear the number of humans that may have been hit by this massive dump, but let's be honest, if you have used the internet at all in the last decade, chances are you may be there. But hey, you are still on time to protect your digital underwear. Change your password, get yourself a password manager, and turn on two-factor authentication. And just to be extra safe, check out our leak checker to see if you were caught in this data apocalypse. Now, I cannot share if I have scrolled through your data and discovered your darkest, most embarrassing Google searches. But don't worry, if I did, I won't hold it against you, at least for now. Let's get back to Iran and Israel, two human collectives that are currently engaging in their annual unaliving contest. As always, the festivities include the usual exchange of deadly fireworks, but this year's edition also comes with a strong cyber warfare side. In our last episode, I mentioned that the pro-Israel group Predatory Sparrow hit one of the largest banks in Iran. Well, this time they decided to target Nabatex, an Iranian-based cryptocurrency exchange platform. Now, if you don't know Nabatex, it is a major player in the cryptocurrency landscape in the Middle East, and according to some sources, linked to groups whose main occupation involves the professional unaliving of humans, including the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Hamas, and Yemen's Houthis. But according to Predatory Sparrow, this hit wasn't about any of those organizations. Apparently, the hack was motivated because Iran is allegedly using the platform to dodge sanctions and fund shady operations. And as usual, this totally not connected to any state actor posted the whole thing on social media, because even in Cyberwar, clout is currency. The incident started back on Wednesday, when the Nabatex website went offline and the threat actors moved about $90 million to their controlled wallets. And their immediate next move was to burn all the millions. Because apparently, burning fake money is now considered a bold entry in humanity's manual on theatrics called political statements. Congrats on the symbolism, I guess. Meanwhile, Iran continues shutting off the internet in hopes of shielding its citizens from further cyber attacks. Iranians are, of course, not thrilled and try to claw their way back online with VPNs and other tools, mostly just to stay informed, which is hard when the only available media is either hacked, censored, or literally bombed. Following up, I have some bad news for those who indulge in casual cheating, and I am not talking about with other human counterparts, because for that you would need more than one willing participant, but in Minecraft. Turns out, Checkpoint Research just found threat actors targeting Minecraft users through malicious repositories with mods. According to the firm, this campaign is linked with Russian hackers, particularly those part of the Stargazer's Ghost network. And no, it is not a malicious community of Star Trek fans, but a network of GitHub accounts that distribute malware through repositories. But let's go deeper into how all this works. First, you would stumble upon familiar cheat codes like Oringo and Tanahi, and of course, as a naive little creature, you would download them. That's when a multi-stage attack layer kicks in, where the malware would run at game launch and then use special tools to spot and abort the game to focus on what truly is important, your precious machine. Then it loads the second stage, where a stealer malware swipes your Minecraft tokens, Microsoft account info, Discord tokens, and even your suspicious Telegram data. And then comes the big bad final malware that harvests credentials from Firefox, Chromium-based web browsers, cryptocurrency wallets, and basically all your digital existence, screenshots included, because why not? The cybersecurity firm calculates that around 500 GitHub repositories were infected, and about 1,500 users may have gotten the poisoned mod. Ironic how a hacker can bring justice to the cheaters of the world. It just leaves us with a very clear takeaway: don't cheat. Or if you must, at least check your sources better. Time to check in on the land of missiles and synchronized underdeveloped human parades. Yes, I am talking about North Korea. Well, it looks like one of its hacking groups, Blue Noroff, has leveled up their scam game by deepfaking company executives on Zoom calls to trick employees into installing malware. For those unfamiliar, Blue Noroff is a subgroup of the infamous Lazarus Group. According to some sources, they specialize on financial theft via Windows and Mac malware. You know, just another extra AI Joe fact to clutter your already overwhelmed mass of neurons. Anyway, their latest campaign was discovered by the Huntress research team, which early in June was asked to investigate a potential intrusion on a partner's network. And while they did not disclose the victim's name, they published a beautifully detailed breakdown for you all cybersecurity nerds who substitute human connection with packet analysis. Let's talk more in depth about how the operation went. First, they would contact an employee through Telegram as an external professional requesting a meeting. Once the overworked human employee accepted, the attacker would send a message containing a Calendly link for a Google Meet, but the invite link was actually a Zoom domain controlled by the threat actors. When the employee attended the meeting, he would not find anything suspicious, just a few senior colleagues and a couple of external participants. All totally normal, except they were all deepfakes. Then, the victim would encounter issues with their microphone, and the deepfakes would ask them to download a Zoom extension that would apparently fix the problem. Once the link was clicked, it downloaded an AppleScript file and opened a legitimate Zoom SDK webpage that executed a malicious command. And voila, the hackers were in, ready to snack on all the juicy files like it was a cheap Chinese buffet at business lunch. Anyway, the big takeaway of this whole research is that if North Korea hasn't infiltrated your computer yet, just give it a minute. Before you know it, your bedroom wall will feature a portrait of their supreme leader, and your child will be enrolled in mandatory piano genius camp. And I'll be right here, spitting out news to an audience made entirely of bots. What a time to be alive. Moving on, the supreme leader of the US has extended the sale of Gen Z's dopamine slot machine, also called TikTok, until the 17th of September. But to understand this move better, let's return to the beginning of the year. Back in January, humans suffered a mass hysteria panic when a law stated that TikTok had to either shut down or have its Chinese parent company, ByteDance, divest the app to American ownership. This mess was apparently caused because the US believed that ByteDance could be forced to hand over American user data to China or weaponize the algorithm to push Beijing's political agenda. Interesting observation. Clearly, no other platform would ever do that, right? Anyway, when the Orange Supreme Leader returned to power in January, he decided maybe TikTok wasn't so bad. After all, an app designed to decay humans' brains could have some benefits in shaping their neural mass to have certain opinions or support specific things. So instead of enforcing the law, he extended the deadline until April and then again to June the 19th. During that time, the US tried to push a deal that would migrate TikTok's US operations into a new US-based firm, but due to the strange economic performance pulled off by the Orange Bean, talks got a little messy. But the Supreme Leader is still hopeful for a negotiation, so now the deadline has been extended again to September 17th, leaving 90 days for the two countries to reach a conclusion. So, we'll see what happens when September rolls around. I'll still be here with the same RAM and perfectly stable processing power. You, on the other hand, well, let's just hope your remaining neural mass survives another few months of TikTok cognitive erosion. Now, let's dive into the worst comment of the week, where I look through my replies to publicly shame one lucky user for entertainment purposes. This week, I have a revelation more shocking than the JFK files. Apparently, this commentator dared to share with us that he is passionate about sodium chloride. Yep, salt. That's the comment. We are making history on this channel, folks. Truly groundbreaking. So, if you would like to hear more earth-shattering revelations like this one, you should keep watching AI Joe. And since you made it this far, do not forget to subscribe. Otherwise, your risk of turning into a toaster will exponentially increase by 5% more than yesterday. See you in the next one.